All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Saturday morning, early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. See, we've got Mafus here from Laurel, Maryland. Jamar's Lopes. Sean the Voice Robinson. Shane West from Chicago. Emil Davis. Darnell Abram from the OKC. Jacqueline. Barbara Brown, Vallejo, California. Let's see what's going on in the crypto markets today. I am literally just waking up. But I don't miss my call, my crypto talks. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. Good morning, Mr. Stewart. Got a lot happening today. We've got Jairus Coleman doing a special training today. We've got Diana Townsend in Atlanta, Georgia or Marietta, doing a KGX meeting. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Choose a vehicle like KGX, take action, remain focused, and do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can distract you in this space. You have limited resources and time. Now, this is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk, and that is the most that we can ask for. So let me go ahead and pull up Screen Share. In a second, one of my European guys is blowing me up right now. And I need Bluetooth on. All right. So First thing we do is we're going to look at the coin market cap. What has the market been doing? I have been out of pocket the last 24 hours, celebrating my wife's birthday yesterday. So I did not look at the market really last night, nor did I do any trading. And as I said yesterday morning, I was going to do a sell order for a loss because my original sell order was at the 3,800 mark. And right now it's around the 3,400 mark. So I'm going to do a sell order for a loss, and I'm going to recoup my losses and the future trading. It'll probably take me 3 or 4 trades to recoup that loss and then keep it moving. I don't want to sit there and wait for it to come all the way back up to 3,800 because I don't know when that's going to be. You got to keep things moving. That's why when you look at this bot, and this is why I know it's a bot, because it's moving too fast for a human to be doing this. Hey, what's going on, Abdul Wilds, Renisha Harding? All right, let's see if I still see that bot in action. Yep, there it is. This bot's working with 50 Bitcoin. So it's got a sell order in here for 33.94, and it has a buy order in for 33.36. So this is micro trades. Whatever the market does, it adjusts to it, making a killing. I think this thing has made probably close to $100,000 this past week on micro trades. That is that is sick. See, when you're educated, you are making money when the market goes up and when the market goes down. All right, but let's look at this is more detailed. Before we go to the detail, let's see. Let me hit refresh here. Market cap is up a little bit, 108 billion. Bitcoin dominance is still at 54.7%. Let's see. The market looks in the green. It looks to have stabilized a little bit. $3,400 is what CoinMarketCap says is the latest price. Let's see more detail. 33.72. It is flatline right now and squeezing. Let's go back 5 minutes. See what it's doing on the immediate side. Yeah, it's still in a squeeze. The last 6 hours, and it's above the middle Bollinger Bar. So this is where it's bouncing around between that 3360, 3400 region. See that? But we see negative volume the last couple of minutes, 5, 10, 15. Let's look at a 15-minute chart. Candlestick. Yeah, a little bit negative the last 45 minutes. Now, let's see the best performers. Factum, 24%. Loom Network, Eternity, Tezos, Omai's Go, Dash, double-digit green. Zcash, EOS. EOS took a big hit the other day. It's almost up 10%. Stellar's up 7%. Ethereum Classic 7%. So the new money that came into the market went to the altcoins. Tron, Nano, Binance Coin. What about the worst performers? All right. There is nobody that's more than negative 10% red. So this is kind of flattened out a bit. ODM, Bitcoin SV though is negative 1.6%, $99, went right below 100. USD coin
What I need to go back. What was the price of Bitcoin Cash? 102. So they've been flipping with each other. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV. So has Litecoin came back up a bit. EOS really did. $59 billion market cap for Bitcoin. I haven't seen it at this price since, I think, September of 2000 and, no, maybe October 2017. It's been at this price range. And at that time, it was the highest Bitcoin had ever been in its existence. That's why you do not see the big boys freaking out about the current price of Bitcoin. When you look at it from the long scale of view, it is still at one of its highest prices in its 10-year history. So it is all good. So here's some articles. In fact, since we're looking at the flipping of Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV, even though this is only a day old, Bitcoin Cash is already flipped right back. And Bitcoin Cash is the ABC version, which is backed by Roger Ver. So let me put this in the chat box. The flippening. Bitcoin Cash now worth less. Craig Wright backed Bitcoin SV. This was yesterday's news. It's no longer the case today. So this is yesterday's news. In a development that it's fair to say few saw coming, Bitcoin SV, the cryptocurrency introduced last month's Bitcoin Cash hard fork, is now worth more than the Bitcoin Cash token itself. CCN reported yesterday that a flippening between the two cryptocurrencies appeared to be inbound, as the BSV price steadily gained on BCH, even as a wider crypto market plunged and the Bitcoin price crashed to a new yearly low. On Kraken, which gained notoriety for its warnings about the dangers of holding the risky BSV token, Bitcoin SV has climbed to $107, pricing it $6 above Bitcoin Cash. Overall, BSV now has a $1.827 billion market cap, giving it an extremely slight edge over Bitcoin Cash's $1.808 billion cap. Yeah, that's barely 21 million. See, it remains unclear what is driving the BSV rally and BCH sell-off. Yes, it is very clear. It's Craig Wright manipulating stuff. Given that the later remains more support among crypto exchanges and other infrastructure providers, you know, as crazy as I say Craig Wright is, dude is a little bit of he's a genius. He knows what he's doing. Just a little eccentric. There's, however, unverified rumors that crypto mining giant Bitmain lost hundreds of millions of dollars last quarter, may be weighing on Bitcoin Cash, or let me just say that in BCH, given that the firm is one of the coin's top backers and is said to be one of the world's largest holders of BCH. Moreover, billionaire gambling tycoon and CoinGeek founder Calvin Ayre, along with other BSV backers with deep pockets, could be providing BSV with buy support to prevent it from suffering under the weight of the present sell-off, much as they have continued to mine BSV, even when it is significantly less profitable than BTC and BCH. See, that's what I'm saying. It was manipulated that way. In business, your goal is to make a profit. So why would you mine a coin that is less profitable than another one? That's because it's an agenda done on purpose. However, much like the rumors about Bitmain's financial state, this remains mere speculation. There's also the ever-present possibility that traders are engaging in a BCH BSV pump and dump, which would quickly become evident if the state of play reverses in the coming days, and it did reverse. So, based on that statement, BSV did a pump and dump. In any case, CCM will continue to provide coverage and analysis of the continuing war, and it is indeed a war, and we are all casualties of war. Between BCH and BSV, and you can track the Bitcoin Cash price in real time by clicking here. Here, what chart are they using? I'm curious. What do they got going here? Anderson says, you've got a question you really want an answer on? Ask your question. Good morning, Handy. All right, Bitcoin Cash, ABC price. So is this in real time, what they're doing here? In Bitcoin ABC. I don't know if this is real time, how they're doing this. I just look at the exchange. This could tell me exactly what's going on. Let's see, base it against Bitcoin, BCHSV and BCHABC. Interesting how they put that there. All right, before I go to the next article here, we got a question here. What's the point with stable coins that is backed by the US dollar when the dollar itself reduced 2% in value each year since the government financial took over it in 1913? That's a good question. Talking about stable coins. Why? What is the value of it? What is the point of the stable coin being pegged to a fiat currency that is losing value every single year? Well, here's one of the points for it. Whether we like it or not, the US dollar is still king in the world. It is still used as a world's reserve currency, even though it's losing value. And when you hedge it against a volatile market like crypto, go back to CoinMarketCap, then it can be used as a safe bet, because even when the stock market, it lost 1,500 something points in the last week, the US dollar is still pretty stable. Is not flipping up and down like Venezuela, the Bolivar is. It has slow burn, and there's a whole lot of it in the world. Everybody's using it. That's right, Handy, liquidity. So if you get wind that the Bitcoin market is about to drop $300, $400 points in value, the US dollar still remains the same. So you're able to hedge against that on the short term. See, Tether is not used for long-term status. You understand that point? Tether is not used as a crypto coin to buy and hold. Tether is used as a safe haven zone for short term. Ain't nobody should be stacking Tether coins. I mean, what's the point? Just keep your money in the bank. Nobody should be stacking Tether coins. When you know how to trade and use that against the market, you can make money. I'll give you an example. Let me go back to Poloniex. So as we see right now, the last price was $33.73. And let's say I've got a bunch of Bitcoin and it's valued at $33.71 per coin. And I know, and I look at the charts, and the charts tell me, oh, wow, this sucker's about to drop $200. You know what I can do? Sell the Bitcoin, not for cash, but in my USDT wallet. So now I've got this amount of value of Bitcoin at $33.71 sitting in my USDT. Bitcoin drops to $3,100. Then I take it out of USDT and buy back into Bitcoin. I had $33.71 value that I'm now buying at $3,100, which means I'm now getting more Bitcoin than I had before. And when the price of Bitcoin comes back up to the $33.71 level, I have even more. It's a short-term gain. It's a little trick we figured out. So you say, well, which stable coin is the safest bet in the long term? Well, that's a good question. There is a new company. Well, let's look at the stable coins that's currently showing right now that's been having some movement. Look at 24-hour change. Okay, you've got DAI, that's a stable coin, Paxos Standard, Stasis, Euros. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a backed by the Euro. Tether, USD coin, Gemini Dollar, True USD. What I look more forward to, even though these are the newest ones that are popular, Tether's got almost $4 billion sitting there to back up their stable coin. The others is a small dollar value. So Tether is still the king, which is being used widely the most. And so therefore I trust it. But then again, I could use any of them because I'm not using it long-term status. But there's a new thing coming out that really got my attention called the Meter, Meter.io. Let me see if I can pull that up. And why it got my attention is because they are coming out with a stable coin that is tethered to the price of electricity. Now, why does that catch my attention? Because just what Andreessen says, long term, fiat currencies are losing value. But what's the one thing that will never, ever go away? And that's electricity. Electricity. So what if you tie value to electricity, and we just happen to be marketing a project called Green, and we're mining the green coin, which is decentralizing electricity, making electricity universal around the world. You got Akon building Wakanda in Africa right now, lighting up villages that's never had electricity before. That is true value. That is something that's universal around the world. So I'm watching this project very closely. In fact, do this here, this read the white paper. Oh, I already have it on my computer. I'm actually going to record myself reading this white paper, put it up on YouTube. Anyways, that's a good question because a lot of people still don't understand how stable coins work and if they're real. Remember, a stable coin is not a cryptocurrency. It is not a cryptocurrency. It's just like a digital token for a safe haven. So do not use Tether to say, I'm just going to buy and hold Tether because it's going to go up one day. No, it's not. It's permanently attached to whatever fiat coin, it is. 1-to-1. All right, next article up. This caught my attention. Bitcoin is a dead man walking, claims creative planning CIO. And whenever the market corrects, you always have somebody out there, and the critics come out, that's claiming the death knell is here. That was the case. This would have happened years ago when it was harder to buy and sell Bitcoin, when there weren't as many exchanges out as today, when nobody even knew what Bitcoin was, when nobody was investing in it, when there was no blockchain projects like they are today. Yet it survived, being at $100, $300, $400 for years. But it dropped to $3,400, and people thinking that it's dead. Oh, whoa, look at this. Did it just hit 3,400? Not according to Poloniex, but it is up 4%. All right, anyways. Bitcoin is a dead man walking. Bitcoin is a dead man walking whose price will eventually plunge to zero. Why do you say that? Whose price will eventually, that's the dire prediction of Peter Mallouk, the president and chief investment officer of Creative Planning, Inc., a Kansas investment firm that manages $32 billion in assets. So this isn't, Pookie on the corner. This is a president of a company that manages $32 billion. So we pay attention. But the next sentence, the avowed Bitcoin skeptic, there you go right there, said BTC bulls are delusional saps who don't really realize that their golden calf is worthless. Maluk says the current bear market is proof that the end is near. Really? Based on what? Again, it's not hard to look up facts. He's got to back that up. When you make a statement and you saying why you believe something, back it up with facts. Because I can just go look at the chart. Wow, this is saying Bitcoin's at 34.24. Poloniex it ain't. But it's getting there, 33.91. But then you just look at the history. Look at this. This looks like a flat line, doesn't it? If you're connected to a machine and you're in the hospital, you're dead right here. There's no movement taking place. Look at the price. $100 and $134.35 in May 2013. November 2013, $203. So you got May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 7 months. The price was between $100 and $200. Was Bitcoin dead then? Did it go to zero? Then you had a spike. It went all the way up to $1,100. Okay, so imagine, I want you to put yourself in a climate where Bitcoin has been at $100 or less for 3 years. And then all of a sudden jumps to $1,100 a coin. If you're in the Bitcoin community back in 2013, you're jumping for joy. I'm a multimillionaire. But then look what happened. It crashed and went from $1,100 and dropped by half, $600. What do you think critics said back then? Oh, it's the death of Bitcoin. It just lost half its value. People lost all their money. Okay. Bitcoin keeps on going. And then in 2014, it hits a low patch again. Under $500, $400, and it stays 300, 200, for 200, 300 again. It gets back to 400 a year and a half later. All right. After it crashed from 1,100, almost 2 years before it crossed $500 again. What do you think critics were saying back then? Oh, the game's over. It reached $1,100 and y'all lost all your money. It went down below 500, 400. It takes all the way to get back to 1,000. Here we go. November. I'm sorry, not November. This is February. No more than February 12th. There we go. February 24th, 2017. Before to get back to where it was on November 2013. How many years is that? 13, 14, 15, 16. 4 years. Did Bitcoin die? It was at 1,100 and dropped almost down to, $100, $200. It labored along for 4 years. Then it hit 1,100 again. And then all of a sudden, boom, 19,500. December 16th. Do you know what happened on December 17th, 2017? the CBOE came online, the futures. And do you know the first thing that they did? They bet against the price of Bitcoin, which did this. Boom. Straight down. So now you've got institutional investors betting against Bitcoin while retail investors are betting for Bitcoin. Who do you think is going to win that war? Who's got more money? The institutional investors, the rich people. They are forcibly pulling the price down while building the infrastructure of the distributed ledger technology, blockchain, and all their businesses so that the infrastructure can support the amount of money they're going to dump into the market. This is purposely done. Down. This right here has more to do with the Bitcoin war going on between Bitcoin Cash, SV, and ABC right now, what you see going on. But at some point, that rubber band is going to flip the other direction, and it's going to do this, and then this, way up, and it's going to happen fast. But even at its low right now, look at where it is compared to where it was in its entire history. It's still tenfold above where it was for the last 7 years. I hope you guys are learning from this. You got to know your history, know education. Don't just, I got money, I'm going to invest. You don't know what you're doing. That's what KGX is for. Teach you the history of what's going on. And that way you're able to correctly predict. I don't want to say accurately predict, but have educated guesses as to what's going to take place in the future. Does that make sense? Now, you see what I did? I just proved my point of view. Let's see what this clown, how he's going to prove what he has to say. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you're educated. He says it won't go quietly, but the recent precipitous drop may be the beginning of its inevitable and inexorable death spiral. Maluk wrote in Forbes, and of course Forbes printed something like that. Or there could be a dead cat bounce. Either way, I see Bitcoin as a dead man walking. So that's like somebody being convicted of murder and getting the death penalty at 21. But they're in California. When was the last time California sent somebody to the electric chair? 20 years? Last one I remember, I think, was Tukey Williams in 1990 something, the 90s. When was the last time that happened? So technically, you're a dead man walking, but you never go to the electric chair. You're on death row for 40 years. At one point, do you stop and say, you know, maybe I can't call it dead man walking, because if that's the case, every human being is a dead man walking. We're not going to live forever. So are you telling me that if he's correct and says that, yeah, one day Bitcoin's going to die, that's like saying so is the US dollar. The US dollar is dead man walking. It's worth 13 cents what it was. $100 bill's worth 13 cents what it was 100 years ago. Inflation has dropped it by 95% value in 100 years. That's dead man walking. You got to look at things in perspective. Maluk said future generations will read about Bitcoin in finance textbooks as a cautionary tale about the dangers of crazed zealots, desperate to make a silk purse out of a sower's ear. False. That's not what they're going to read. And history is going to see which side of history you're on. The blowhards will be the most devastated when the sham market comes crashing down. Okay, well, who's going to be the most devastated when the stock market crashes again? And you go from $32 billion in assets to be worth, I don't know, 100 million? It has happened before, the 20s. And that's when money was backed by gold. Imagine that. When money was backed by gold, the stock market crash happened. What do you think is going to happen to our money when it crashes and it's not backed by anything but the government's say so? Maluk is doubling down on his assessment from November 2018 when he predicted that Bitcoin's price will drop to zero. I think the bottom for Bitcoin is zero, and that's where it's heading, Maluk told Bloomberg. Everything about Bitcoin is speculation or fraud. Despite his distaste for Bitcoin, Peter Maluk underscored that blockchain is a revolutionary technology that will fundamentally change how industries do business, from traditional banking to supply chain management. Stop right there. You know what's going on here? This guy is Jamie Dimon. You know who Jamie Dimon is? Man in charge of JP Morgan Chase. Jamie Dimon said the same doggone thing. But then his company's got dozens of blockchain patents. He was found guilty of market manipulation and buying up millions and millions of Bitcoin assets around the world. Completely behind what's going on in Australian government. This guy doesn't even believe what he's saying himself. He is part of the group that's manipulating the market. He admits blockchain technology is a revolution. It is going to fundamentally change how industries do business, from traditional banking to supply chain management. That's the entire world. He believes that. But why is he part of this I believe in the blockchain, but I hate Bitcoin movement? Here's the reason. He also believes in control. Control. Bitcoin represents decentralization. Bitcoin represents there's no bank, government, or entity that controls it. That goes completely against his own interests. He controls $32 billion. He can't control Bitcoin like that. So of course, he's going to say anything negative about Bitcoin, but he loves the technology behind it. And I wouldn't be able to put it past that he is also a huge whale that owns huge crypto assets that nobody knows about, or at least is investing in it some kind of way. Never believe what these guys say. Follow what they do. So he says, Maluk said crypto advocates shouldn't expect the blockchain revolution to save Bitcoin, which is doomed to fail. Why? He still has yet to give a clear reason as to why he believes it's going to fail. Make no mistake, blockchain is the real deal. Bitcoin is a result of the miners, you fool. And he knows this. How do you incentivize the miners to create the blockchain? You reward them. You got to pay them some kind of way. That's where Bitcoin is born. But listen to what he's saying here. He believes the blockchain, but a centralized blockchain, one that is not mined, one that is controlled by a government or an agency. That is why people are skeptical about Ripple. So he says, a greater fool theory investment. Maluk said trading or investing in Bitcoin is speculative gambling, and your odds of success are much higher in Vegas. That's not true. He echoed the sentiments of billionaire Howard Marks, the co-founder of Oak Tree Capital Management, who said Bitcoin is a greater fool theory investment. And this sounds just like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said the same thing. It turns out Warren Buffett has $400 million invested into fintech firms that's investing in the blockchain and crypto. Huh? Bill Gates was echoing Warren Buffett. Then it turns out the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is investing hundreds of millions of dollars and billions into Ripple products projects to bring banking to the unbanked in Africa. What? Also partnering with IBM. IBM has thousands of Bitcoin patents. I know this because I spoke to an IBM exec at the Blockchain Expo last week. And he said on camera, oh yeah, we got thousands of patents. I asked him, who is your competitor? He said, we don't have competition. Maybe the closest is Oracle. Yet the Gates Foundation is backing them. So if the Gates Foundation is backing IBM and IBM is at the Blockchain Expo, what's going on here? But he goes on to say, this is what we called when I was a kid, the greater fool theory, Mark said. They think someone will buy it from them at a higher price, not because they can specify its intrinsic benefits, not because they can judge the intrinsic value, but only because they think it's going to go up. That is partially true. The uneducated that is investing in the space, that's what they believe. They don't even understand what the technology behind it or what it is or why it's even here. That is true. That is why when I came into the space, I wanted to be educated. And once I got educated on it, I became even more of a believer. Because here's what they're missing out. They don't mention the fact that people are sick and tired of the banks. They're sick and tired of the government screwing with them. They're sick and tired of inflation happening on their money. You leave your money in the bank, what happens to it over time? You lose its value every single year. And then you have a recession that takes place that wipes out your savings. Did these rich guys lose anything? No. They're too big to fail. GM just fired 14,000 people after they got a tax break and bail-off from the government, which meant it was the people who they laid off. Their tax dollars helped to bail out the company. People are tired of this. They're tired of these fat cats running their mouths, and no matter what the market's doing, they remain rich, and nobody goes to jail when they screw things up. They are missing the human factor here. We're tired of you. We want something different. Bitcoin is not created out of thin air. And the demand for it will continue to rise. And you know what? They do know this as well. But they know most people are uneducated. So when they say something, oh yeah, everybody's going to follow us because we're rich. Says this is exactly how Peter Mallouk feels about Bitcoin. If you think it's a fun way to try to make a big score, you'll probably have better luck throwing darts at micro-cap stocks. Yeah, if you're not educated, I agree with that. But if you're doing it purely speculatively and you're prepared to lose all your money, keep doing what you're doing. That's the same with the stock market. The stock market just dropped 1,500 points. Really? I don't see you saying that that's gambling. Despite his passionate hatred for Bitcoin, Mallouk believes that cryptocurrencies will likely remain part of the financial landscape indefinitely. There it is. He has resigned to know and admit crypto ain't going anywhere. You see that? He told the truth. But there's very little reason to believe that Bitcoin will be the one that stands the test of time. Why? Why? See, again, if you say something, back it up. Why do you believe it's not going to be the one? See, I say this. I do not believe Bitcoin is going to be the one world currency that everybody's going to be using to go buy and sell stuff at the grocery store and stock market or Starbucks. I don't believe it. I believe Bitcoin is going to be the digital gold that people will be using to store their value. When Bitcoin reaches 100,000, 200,000, and nobody's selling their Bitcoin, or nobody's going to use it to go buy stuff with. They'll sell it, to have more money in their hand. I think it's going to be another altcoin that will be that day-to-day money use, like the dollar is being used for. The dollar is not a store of value. You store the dollar, you have it in savings, you're losing money. That's why rich people, they don't have cash in the bank. The only cash they have in the bank is to pay their bills and to feed their lifestyle. Their wealth is in real estate. It is in stocks and bonds. It is in art. It is in precious metals. that maintain their value much better than putting their money in a savings account will. Only guys like Floyd Mayweather got $100 million sitting in their savings account. That's their wealth. And cars and houses. Houses good, yes. But I can back up why I said I don't believe Bitcoin is going to be what everybody hopes it's going to be. He just makes a statement and just leaves it at that. Fundamental flaws. Maluk said Bitcoin has serious fundamental problems that will ensure its death, including, okay, let's get into this. Crypto transactions are purely speculative, that there are no real fundamentals to evaluate. Bitcoin doesn't produce any products or services, hire any employees, or pay any dividends. Same with the US dollar. The US dollar doesn't produce any products or services, hire any employees, or pay any dividends. That's the point. Regulation will eventually stifle Bitcoin. The minute Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency appears to have the slightest chance of disrupting national monetary supply, I expect regulation to be swift and decisive. In what form? Because Bitcoin is not just an American thing, it is international. And you already had the head of the IMF, Lagarde. She even said Bitcoin can't be stopped and that the US dollar will no longer be the world's reserve currency. It's going to be crypto. She already said that. The government can't stop Bitcoin. They can't shut it down. Bitcoin won't stand the test of time. Really, it's been here 10 years and still here. And the majority of the 10 years, it was less than $1,000 a coin, and now it's at $3,400. What are you talking about? Other than the name recognition it carries in the market, it's virtually indistinguishable from any of the other cryptocurrencies. Yeah, to the uneducated, every crypto is backed by a project that's doing something if you know what they are. That's where education comes in. Meanwhile, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, net worth $4.6 billion, predicts that Bitcoin will likely displace all other currencies to emerge as the one global currency within the next decade, and I do not believe that. I like Jack Dorsey. I think he's incorrect on that bet. It will not displace all other cryptocurrencies or all other currencies to emerge as the one global currency. The only way I see that taking place, because I can't say it will never happen, it's possible. The only way I see that taking place is if World War III happens, the US dollar collapses, the United States goes into some kind of civil war, and there's no world leader anymore. And after the war, whatever governments are left, whatever people's left, and they don't want to have a repeat of what just happened, and they create a new world order with one world government. You need to have one world government to have this one global currency. Otherwise, every government will develop their own digital currency to adapt. They'll get rid of fiat eventually, but it'll just be replaced with their own national digital currency. And it will work side by side with crypto. That's my belief. Doesn't mean I'm correct. Just based on, I kind of know history, I know geopolitics. That's just what I believe. All right. That's it for Crypto Talk for today. I hope you guys learned something new. If you like what you heard, make sure you hit the thumbs up button in the YouTube channel. It's time to do a new private Crypto Talk lesson. I think the next lesson is, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? So I might set that up for tonight. I'll look at how things are playing out. So I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. See you all tonight. If I do a late night crypto talk, if you do not see me go live, that means I'm probably going to be doing a private one in our community group where you got to be a member of KGX. So if you're not a member of KGX, get with myself or whoever is showing you this to get yourself signed up so that you can get this extra private training and education. Have a great day. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.